After the ball is over, after the skein is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 566. Today is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023. As we are recording. I am Marlisha, also known as Lady Fernico.
I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
Welcome to the Fun in the Woman Cave. We want to welcome all new and returning viewers. If you are new, we're glad you found us. We hope you find something you enjoy and that you will keep coming back. If you are returning, we're glad to have you back as always. If you are in the shadows, new or returning, and you'd like to become more involved or more official, we have a little subscribe button on your right. It's a little red button that says subscribe, and we have a little bell that you can tap, and you can choose what kind of notifications you want to get, so just do that and you'll be official. And if you would like to be part of our group, our home group, so you can take part in the alongs and things, that takes place in our regular group, and that's PHN podcast at freeforms.net, I think. Yeah, and that's in the little description box below the video. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. How many projects do you have today?
I have 4.
Trois.
Okay. So I would end up going twice. And I didn't even bother grabbing the design bag because I didn't feel like extricating it.
Twice once.
Oh, twice once, you're correct.
Twice once.
I didn't feel like extricating my design bag when I'm just going to be waving it, so
Right.
It's just like, well, there's no point. It takes too much effort.
We're here, and sort of on time.
Right. Well, it was like they're not going to see the design. There's no point to it.
Right. Well, you can bring it some other time, 'cause they like to see the bag sometimes.
Yeah.
Just a heads up, we do have a Zoom next Friday that may be moved to Thursday. My husband has another procedure on Thursday. Nothing major, just the second half of what he had last time, and I have to make sure that he can drive himself. So we will keep you posted on that if you are a Patreon.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you drinking?
So in here I have the bag as well. This is Tangerine Tuxedo, and I'm going to read what it is and I'll kind of show you. This unique treat is made by hollowing out a tangerine, stuffing it with black tea, and then letting it dry out and age as one. The fruit infuses the leaves with its citrus notes, smoothing out the earthy tea when brewed. Now, a lot of people were saying that they were only doing a part of the tangerine, and then they were complaining that it wasn't tangerine enough, and I just like
Put the whole thing in.
Put the whole thing in.
It's not that big a tangerine.
And so
Don't open it. Just
I'm not going to open it all the way. So it's like, I don't want to unwrap it because I don't want to lose some of the flavor.
It looks like a clove of garlic.
Yes.
That's the size of it.
But it has a tangerine. It smells amazing. It has a tangerine in there. It really is basically hollowed out. They filled it with tea and then has a little top again.
And I tasted that the other day. It's really good. I have it on my wish list now because it really tastes good.
Yeah. What's this little thing in here? Just stickers. I wonder if they were on the tangerines or whatever.
They might have been to keep it closed.
Maybe. Oh, that might have been.
How many have you used?
A few.
Yeah, that might have been.
But none of the rest have them on there. I don't know. So yes, that's what this is. I've just been putting the full tangerine in there because...
Well, you're also having a huge cup.
Well, so were they. They were having about the same size. Like, when people were mentioning, like, one of the reviews said, oh, I used, like, a quarter of the tangerine, and I think they used, like, what do they say? A 28 or something like that.
You wouldn't, even with your regular tea, maybe we just like our tea strong. I mean, I know a lot of people say use a teaspoon for 8 ounces, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and I use 2 teaspoons for almost, yeah, 2 teaspoons for 11 and a half ounces.
Oh, this one's more tangerine than I remember being last time, and not quite as sweet. Now it hasn't sat as long, I don't think.
Did you put sugar in it?
I did. That was the first thing I did.
You want to taste the little gray cells?
Sure.
This is good.
It's still good, but it's
It
definitely...
has a little more of the peel taste to it.
Yes, it does this time around. Good as always.
Yeah. So this is my Poirot's. This is, what is it? Chocolate
Chocolate mocha.
chocolate mocha for the little gray cells. Both of these are Adagio teas.
I believe it's chocolate mocha nut mott.
This is chocolate mocha tea for the little gray cells.
Oh, okay.
And then it says chocolate mocha tea for the little gray cells twice.
Oh,
Twice.
okay.
This was one I can eat. I can drink caffeinated
now.
beverages again. So that's why I've been waiting for this one. It's the first time I've had it since I was given the go ahead. I was drinking I drank a couple of moderate ones. I had my Spada Mat and Chocolat. I had, what else did I have that was, I think it was one of Chrissy's blends that she made for me. So I was easing into it again, but I can drink this now, and I was tired, so I'm having a full caffeinated tea, and this is one of my favorites of that. This one I can easily run out of because I drink it a lot.
Mm-hmm. And we are all grateful that she is on her caffeine again.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't that bad. I was just tired. I have an excuse. Okay. So, let's see here. I will get on track eventually here. Let's go to the alongs. We've got 3 of them going. The PHN Movie Night Make Along 2023, that is all year. It started in January, it goes to December 31st. So once we hit January 1st, it is finished. Yes, sometimes it stays open a few hours into the following day of January 1st, but don't depend on that, because if I close it, if I manage to close it on the East Coast here at midnight, or if Talia does because she's actually up, or if Rena does in Texas, I think it would be 2 o'clock over there. If she does that, so we have a couple moderators who, Patty, who's on the East Coast as well, that if they close it, we don't want you to lose out because you waited too long. Just put it in. We want you to have as many chances as possible. This is the projects, all of our longs, except for when we say otherwise. The project's supposed to be knit, loom knit, crocheted, woven, or paper crafts such as journaling, origami, card making, drawing, things like that. Okay, because that's what we're into. So
Exactly.
Excuse my ums. I'm really trying not to have so many ums, but apparently I'm not there right now. The featured patterns and yarns for all of our longs are anything Lady Vertical Creations, anything Franciscan Gypsy Designs, and anything Lollipop Girl Creations, I think it is. And that includes Laura Concert Designs patterns, because that's the same thing.
Yes.
So anything that fits the along, that's in one of those parameters there, will be eligible for multiple chances at a prize for the finished object only. If you do only a finished yarn or pattern, it's 2 chances at a prize for the finished object. If it is a featured yarn and pattern for a finished object, then you get 3 chances at a prize. You are responsible for your own multiple postings. Now, this particular one, the hashtag is PHN Movie Night 2023 on Instagram, and all this has to do with is anything that has to do with movies. Okay, and everything is in the along thread in the group. Okay, at PHN. Now, the arthritis, cardiac dysautonomia, cal or make along. The hashtag is PHN ACD 2023, and this runs through September 30th. So we've got about a month and a half left on this one. We're halfway through this, and the types of projects remain the same. I already gave you the hashtag for for Instagram, and the featured yarns and featured patterns are the same. So everything is the same. Just make sure it fits the theme. The theme is the cardiac dysautonomia, arthritis related, to help you think about that. And the colors for this are shades of pink, shades of red, shades of purple, and shades of teal. And if I missed anything, it's in the group. Okay? And that takes care of that one. And then Tortoise versus Hare, which is not our along, it is Laura Concert's along. Okay, that's Crocheting Hoovian. And this is anything tortoise or hare, tortoise and hare, tortoise or hare, tortoise versus hare, just tortoise, just hare, anything like that. Doesn't matter what it is, what kind of craft it is. Laura has opened it completely wide open, and so we are honoring that. Anything that has to do tortoise or hare, any projects. And if it, again, uses the featured yarns or patterns, you're eligible for multiple chances at a prize. And the hashtag is tortoise versus hare 2023. So that's basically what we have for that.
Okay, so then that leads on to projects. The first one that I'm going to show is in my Silvershed USA Silvershed USA Rebel Scum bag. It has my TARDIS socks in here. And I got off count somehow, so I got back a little bit and fixed my count for the decreases. And so I'm still on the decreases for the first sock. This is Not Just Boring Boot Sock pattern by Corinne Walcher. Colorway is Time Machine by Wild Hair. So it is a TARDIS reference, and the colors match the TARDIS.
And you can't, I think she was trying to avoid a copyright.
Yes, I think so too. But yes, there's that one, and then I show one more. In my Bunny Butt bag by Erin Lane.
That's a gift from Laura,
Yep,
right?
Laura gave this to me.
That's Laura Concert.
Yep. And here is my Thorin's hooded cowl. I call it my Bomber's hooded cowl because Bomber in the Hobbit books has a yellow party hood.
Didn't he have it in the movie too? I don't remember.
I don't remember. They were so... The movie is stupid.
She's not unbiased at all.
No, I don't even try to be. That movie was awful. It didn't care about the source material whatsoever.
It didn't, but we're not going to get on a rant about that.
But yes. Actual Bombers hooded cowl.
Very nice.
Yeah, so...
Like that color.
Yeah, this is his color. Now, when they do the introduction, when they're hanging up the hoods, I don't believe they specify who has the yellow hood, but when he falls into the water, when they stray off the path in Mirkwood, after, Bjorn tells them, and Gandalf both tell them not to stray off the path, they stray off the path anyway, and he falls in the water and is like asleep. I believe they mentioned that the yellow hood specifically is his.
Well, I think his hood is like above the water or something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There was a reason that his hood came into to the point that I remembered as being his. Specifically. So.
I need to start bringing my cup warmer out. Or my mug warmer. Okay.
So yes, that is it with this one. This is a nice project to work on when you just need something mindless.
I have to get mine back out once I finished other projects that are more time sensitive.
I use these hoods all the time, and I'm looking forward to having another color available to me.
Fall and winter are coming up, so I'm looking forward to getting mine finished. But mine's sitting in a bag right now, waiting, sulking because I haven't looked at it in like 4 months. But maybe not quite that long.
Well, you were about to start the hood.
Yeah, I'm at the hood. Okay, in my angel bag, and again, I haven't worked on this since last podcast, and just right now, so I can show it to you next week too. This is my Film Noir shawl from the Scrap Shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel. Let me see if I can get untangled here a little bit. So, because I only worked a couple of stitches, it hasn't grown very much. Go figure. See? So you can see it is growing. I love the colors. I can't wait to have it finished. And I'm going to wear it, finished or not, because I'm freezing. So it is getting pretty long.
Yep.
So that's all I have to say about that.
Just mark off my... Oh, no, I'm not ready to mark off this row. Okay. So, let me...
I sound like you said Meghan Markle.
Oh, heavens no. Let's not bring her into this.
Let's not. Actually, I'm afraid I'm going to get something on here if I wear it, so I'm going to take it off.
Okay, so... I'm actually going to cover this other one because I'm in the middle of a row for this. Not that there's any guarantee I'll be done with the row when I actually can get to it, but...
Right. I haven't worked on that in a while.
Which? No, I've worked on it.
Have you?
Yeah, I just don't think I worked on it last time.
Oh, okay.
In my Silver Shed USA Peanuts Christmas bag, nothing Christmassy in at this point. The project, I keep saying that I'm going to put the pattern up on Etsy, and I keep not doing it. My Eleanor Crosses pattern first sock has been done since before my last surgery, and
Made some progress.
yeah, I have, I think, one more set of repeats before I start the heel
Looks nice.
flap and everything. So thank you. Yeah, I need to eventually just get this up. It's just one of those things that I mean to, and then other things.
What weight is that?
This is fingering. And I have multiple sizes written.
I wonder if that would look nice in my either my circus afro.
No, I would not put this with anything that has pattern yarn. This has actual lace where
Okay.
you want to see, it has crosses on it.
Well, maybe I'll give you. Do you think my variegated salted caramel will be too much?
If it's too much variation, yes. I mean, I love circus afros, but I wouldn't knit in this.
No, I'm saying the.
And nor would, if salted caramel has...
salted caramel's right up there.
Yeah, I can't see it from here.
Yeah.
If it's more of like a tonal, that's fine. But if there's too much variation, no, it'll take away from the crosses.
Well, maybe I'll just do pennies from heaven.
Yeah, because as you can see, you really need to be able
Right.
to see the crosses here. That's the whole point of the pattern. If it's hidden, it kind of diminishes the point.
Right.
There we go. There are plenty of other simple, even some patterns where you might be patterned, but it doesn't really matter how much you see the pattern. But for this, it does actually matter.
Right.
So yes, I did get some work done on this.
Let me, in my PHN Podiversary 10-year Podiversary bag, made by the lovely Ann Gander, I think, is my strawberry shortcake bag. My strawberry shortcake baby blanket. And this is another one that I worked on the podcast and I put it away. Let me show you. So it's still basically where it was, but you can see that it is growing. I really like the way its colors are. They're kind of pooling, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Pooling, quasi-striping. I don't know. I like the way it's working out. And it's very soft. It's fuzzy. Sometimes it makes me sneeze.
Kind
but
of like baby alpaca.
it's kind of like baby alpaca, yeah. Only this is acrylic.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
so
it's the same kind of effect of
Yeah.
having something that's.
it's a joy to work with as long as you don't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Once you make mistakes, it's really kind of
Honestly,
there.
sometimes baby alpaca can be that way. Not as bad as a lot of the acrylics, but
Mhm.
baby alpaca can have that effect if it gets too clingy.
Right. And this, like I said, this is one, you guys know I can finish out these Cerebell things really quick, but I've been only doing these on the podcast because I need to focus on another thing until I finish it, and hopefully well before the wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm not working on anything else usually during the week, except for the blanket.
Right. Alrighty, so my last one is actually the one I'm working on. Let me just work my way across this repeat. This is a pattern by 10 Hours or Less, George, our very own George. The pattern is Log Cabin Love. I've been told it's more of a courthouse steps than it is a log cabin.
Well, we've been told that a courthouse steps is a kind of log cabin.
So this is my last of this particular blue. I have the same thing at the bottom.
Very pretty.
This is supposed to be a lap blanket for my desk chair. I get very cold when I flare a lot of times. I mean, I'll get very hot, or I'll get very cold. More recently, I've been getting very cold. So I will be layering up with all of my biggest shawls with my hood, and usually I absolutely need, and I'll usually be wearing my poncho. And I always need something on my lap. sometimes even though this isn't finished, I will still put this on my lap.
Right.
Because a normal blanket just gets caught in the wheels and it just gets in the way.
Oh, there's
Which one, this
limitations.
one?
Limitations.
Yeah, this one won't because it's meant for a lap blanket. I mean, technically I probably could stop at any point, but I have other colors I want to add.
Right, and as long as it doesn't get caught, you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably going to end up a little bit larger than I intended initially, but I also want to be able to, if I want to, pull it up a little bit.
Right.
I mean, it still is a good length, and
It's pretty.
yes, I'm enjoying it right now, and maybe at some point I'll do one for the bed as well, simply because I do sleep on top of my, even though I have blankets I use as covers, because they're tucked in, I don't do well with my feet pressed down upon, tucked in.
You still have to make that bed tall.
I know. So I tend to sleep on top of the heavier blankets with some sort of Afghan pulled over.
Mm.
My miter square is my main one right now, plus that acrylic blankety stick your arms through it thing that I don't use for that purpose because my arms don't stay warm.
Yeah. You don't stay warm in there?
No, because you're not. Your arms are going through, like the blanket's on you, but it's not covering your arms.
Oh, I thought it made the sleeves and everything.
No. It doesn't have sleeves.
Okay.
It really is just you stick your arms through this thing and you have a blanket, and my arms would get cold. So I really just use it as another kind of blanket.
Right. I think they call those things a slanket.
I can't remember.
something.
It was like a kind of a thing for a while.
Yep.
But
when I got that, when I made that for you, it was before they became really popular.
hmm
It was just something I thought, okay, that might be
I think they were like called Snuggies or something.
snuggly or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
But it was around the time that was heating up. But yeah, that's what I am working on at this second. I will be moving on to the kind of like a zingy kind of blue. It's a Knit Picks yarn. So that will be my next.
So it's not a zing. It's a
No, I'm just
zingy.
zingy. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's
That's what I said, yeah.
reminiscent of zing.
Zing.
So you get an idea of what
So
kind
she-
of blue I'm speaking of.
She's talking about something like this.
Yeah.
This-
Maybe not
this
quite,
is a zing.
Yeah, maybe not quite that bright, although pretty darn close. I just don't have it here to show because no sense in it. I'm not starting that
Mhm.
right now. But yeah, that is it. And where am I? Oh, this way. I'm supposed to be knitting this one. Your turn.
Okay, so this is what I've been working on all week. And I switched colors a couple of times, I think.
Oh, so did you actually have 3 and not 2?
I'm sorry?
Did you have 3 projects and not 2?
I said I had 3.
Oh, I thought you said 2.
No, I had 3. This is my Home is Where the Heart Is. No. What do I call this? Yeah, Home is Where the Heart Is. Okay. This is my Home is Where the Heart Is blanket, and I've changed to a skeino yarn. I had 2 of them, and Talia gave me 1 more just in case I didn't have enough. So you can see that it's really getting big here, and you can see the top where I'm adding the new color in. And I was going to use Zing as the contrasting color, but I think it's too bright.
It's too much of a difference.
It's too bright. So what I'm going to do is pull out the Expression Fiber Arts I used earlier. I had 2 of this one color, and I'm hoping it will allow me to go through the other side. And if not, I can fudge it a little bit with this. So,
Yeah, the thing though with your log cabin, courthouse steps, whatever, that's different from mine, they all have a similar tone, whereas mine has all different kinds of tones. So I can pull in some of these brighter ones that
Right.
won't necessarily work with yours. Mine's a lot more scrappy,
yeah,
whereas you have a definite tone to yours.
I was going to do scrap, and then when I realized that it was going to be a gift for somebody, I wasn't sure how that would work.
And we also know that Mom doesn't really do scraps.
Well, I do, but it's just different than other people. This is the skeino I'm using, and I wasn't going to use this, but I think it'll work well with.
She doesn't do true scraps where you're just grabbing something out.
Well, I was doing that with the squares. Davina was actually picking things out for me to do, or actually the what is it called? The one I was doing with Kay that I gave Laura the scarf.
Oh, I don't remember what that's called because I never.
Because that's like making squares, but you're doing it in a strip. So she would just pick out whatever she picked out, I put in.
Yeah.
And so that was all I did. But for this, it's a gift, and I want to make sure it has some kind of cohesion.
I have to admit that was one of my favorite things with the mitered square when I was working on it.
Yeah.
Because I remember working on it one day when I really wasn't feeling well. It was before my first surgery. And I would just, that's part of why I had so many ends to weave in later, is I didn't feel like weaving in ends because I didn't feel well.
Right.
But choosing the next color was very cathartic.
Right.
It was like I got this little, I don't know, hit of dopamine or whatever.
Well, it's fun.
It's fun, and it was something that kind of took my mind off of things. And I usually, as long as, my only thing that I would want to make sure of was that the colors weren't too similar to each other.
Right. Well, I think if I were to ever do something like that, it would have to be something like the mitered. If I were ever to learn to pick up stitches, it would have to be something like the mitered square, because you're only doing like 30 stitches or 15
That's
stitches at
why I
a
would
time.
recommend that be the way you get comfort level picking up stitches, because you're not doing along a huge strip. You're doing a certain amount at a time, a very
Right.
small amount at a time, but you still get sufficient practice, because it's like, oh yay, I get to finish my little color. Now I pick up stitches again, but it's the same number, so you get a comfort level with it.
Right, and also the thing is, it doesn't matter. I could be doing a 61 stitch square,
Yeah.
and I'd still have to pick up 30 stitches.
Exactly.
So eventually, when I've gotten over my distaste from the last one, I might.
Although your last thing, not the last miter square, because you've never really
No.
done a miter square.
The last time I was thought about it, because I got to the point where I could pick up stitches, and it just
You just didn't do it, and that means you didn't get very far, because you had to pick up stitches right after the first
no.
square.
I meant with the
Oh.
with the last blanket I made.
No, yeah, you're right.
So no, the miter square, I did finish one, and I just didn't pick up the stitches, and I got caught doing something else.
Yeah, well, you have a little mental block when it comes to picking up stitches. Now, I do think that in the video, Kay might give instructions. Kay purposely made it garter stitch to make picking up stitches easier.
I don't have access to her videos anymore.
There might still be a video in the pattern, though.
Right,
because
because I did buy the pattern.
Yeah. So you might still have access to that.
Right.
But regardless, there could still be easy videos to find on YouTube about how to pick up stitches.
Yep. But anyway,
especially on a garter stitch.
So this is just the color I'm doing now, and I will pull the pink, which is this one down here, this right here. So, and then I think I might put a row or two of gold around it. I just haven't decided yet.
I need to weave in some of these ends, or I'm going to end up with the same situation I had with the mitered square blanket. Although there aren't nearly as many ends with this as mitered square.
I started weaving in ends when I was waiting for colors to come in. But at the now I have a bunch of ends to weave in too. So
Well, I have to do weaving in ends, but I also need to mend some socks. What I might need to do is just, after I catch up with Bible in a year, because I think I have a few days to catch up on, I
Right.
need to just run my audiobook, Henrietta Maria, and just listen to that, because thankfully I have a good reader for that. And then listen to that and mend some socks, weave in some ends,
Yeah.
And stay off of YouTube, preferably. Actually read my book.
well, I've got the Premor Novenas retreat thing. I'm hoping that after lunch and after I do my stuff that I have to do, I'm going to sit down with that and get some more stuff done with this. I would like to finish this by next week.
I just wanted to, this audiobook made me think of something you'd like, Mom. It's what I'm going to listen to after Henrietta Maria. And I just want to mention why I was thinking about it. I think I got it with my points. It's, okay, about title details. So it's called Rum Punch and Revolution,
Ha!
Tavern Going and Public Life in 18th Century Philadelphia.
Oh, cool.
And it's going through, the kind of people that you'd run into in the taverns, how that was really like kind of a evening ground where people would,
It was a meeting place.
is a meeting place where taverns offered overnight accommodations, meals, stabling for visitors.
They were kind of an inn.
Yeah, they also served as places to gossip, gamble, find work, make trades, and gather news. In Rum Punch and Revolution, Thompson shows how the public houses provided a setting in which Philadelphians from all walks of life revealed their characters and ideas as nowhere else.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I know, right? He takes the listener into the cramped confines of the colonial bar room, describing the friendships, misunderstandings, and conflicts that were generated among the city's drinkers, and investigating investigates the profitability of running a tavern in a city which, until independence, set maximum prices on the cost of drinks and services in its public houses. So I'm really looking forward to this.
I'm kind of disappointed it takes place in Philadelphia, not in Boston.
I mean, Philadelphia was a huge...
But the Boston Tea Party took place in... Yeah.
True. But when I would think of, like, where your big hub... Yes, you had Boston, but...
Boston was a big hub.
Boston was a big hub, but, Philadelphia's where you had a lot of the leading people. That's where Congress was.
Well, Lexington and Concord is where you had the shot heard around the world.
True, but, I mean...
Bunker Hill.
You have these important areas, but when you think of where the government itself started forming, where a lot of these thinkers ended up going, it was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Boston had its own... And I would consider... Boston, Philadelphia, and somewhere in Virginia. I'm not sure where, but those are the places I think of.
Usually, I don't think of a specific area in Virginia.
Virginia had,
Usually, a lot of the things that I think of, even New York, I think of before.
I don't.
Something Virginia. Well, maybe it's because I read recently a book where George Washington had lost New York. It was always a big thing. He kept wanting to win it back. I never won it back before the end of the war.
Right.
He really, really wanted to, but just wasn't something that was feasible. But yeah, when I picked this up, I was like, oh, this is kind of up Mom's alley.
I used to work at the Park Service at Lexington and Concord. I used to work on the Lexington Bridge and all that kind of stuff.
Well, what makes it kind of up your alley isn't just the fact that it's Revolutionary War, but it's the whole tavern going and public life aspect of
I don't frequent those places.
No, but it's the kind of places where you do get the storytelling and you get the on the ground kind of feel. It's not necessarily just
the people's view.
It's people's view, but I mean those people could include some of the names you always hear about, but these could also be the people that they interacted with. So this is where the revolution would have started first in people's minds. This is where people start talking about it. They start grumbling. They start, darn it, they
raise the
taxes again. I can't believe it.
We don't have any representation. They raise the taxes on tea and they raise the taxes on stamps and
darn it anyway. Bang their drink on the thing. I can't take it anymore.
What do you mean you can't take it away? You don't know how good you got it.
Exactly. You have this arguing. Probably someone dumps a drink on somebody.
Yes, we are writers.
But yes, so when I finish Henrietta Maria, I will probably go on to this. Thankfully, the reader for Henrietta Maria has a very pleasant voice, which is always a bonus.
Right. I just saw a book. What was it? I almost picked it up. I can't remember what it was. I think it was nonfiction. And the reader was really good. It was a gentleman.
It's nice when you can get a good reader.
I wish I could remember what it was. What was it? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was nonfiction. I don't remember. But he read in such a fashion that you just felt like he was talking. He was just talking. He wasn't like he was trying to act or he was just reading.
That's how this lady feels.
Yeah, and it was very restful. Sometimes you get people and you're like, I can't get past the voice.
Yes, I mean, before I ended up getting the actual book, the person who was doing Collector of Lives about Vasari and his Lives of the Artists, the reader, I mean, they were decent, but they weren't the greatest reader. So...
Well, I told you that the ones who read that one comic that I'm a big...
It wasn't a comic, it was a book based on comic. It was a novel.
All right, well, whatever. It was. I consider things with superheroes to be comics, graphic novels, whatever. The person reading, regardless of what it was, I didn't get the second one. Mm-hmm. Even though I really like that particular group of superheroes,
Well, I also think that the book might have not been as good of a book as I remember it being, because I read this book
I got on her
when I was younger. So to me, this was a really great book at that time period. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of the way it always stayed in the back of my head. Yeah. That was really, before I did some other reading and this, that, and the other. But yes, a reader can make a huge difference. Mm-hmm. I've actually returned books on the audiobook
There's a reason I don't get Agatha Christie unless it's read by Hugh Fraser. I will occasionally get one by Poirot himself,
Suchet.
and I will do Jap,
Whoever plays it.
whoever plays Jap. Philip something or other.
Oh, the guy
Ja-
who did the reading for 10 Little Indians was decent.
I don't remember who he was.
He was good enough that, you kind of forgot that there was a reader.
My point is that if Fraser's reading, it doesn't matter who else is reading it.
No, you're right.
I get his. If I will read Suchet, and I will read, I think it's Philip Jackson. I think that's his name.
I'm not
the one who
sure.
plays Jap. I will also listen to them. They both have very pleasant reading voices, but Hugh Fraser is over and above both of them.
There's a reason why Hugh Fraser's always seem to be more expensive than anyone else's. They rarely go up on sale, so when they do go up on
snag
sale, usually they go up on sale on Chirp, it seems.
Yeah.
Chirp usually is the one that comes through with the really good sales.
My tea is lasting almost the whole podcast.
Yays!
Granted, it's a shorter podcast, but
But yeah, if I decide that I like this book, I will, pass
Sorry.
this one on the taverns, and if the reader's good, I will go ahead and pass that along to you, because the whole premise just seems like something that you would enjoy. But yeah, the reader for Henrietta Maria, when you feel like the author's talking to you,
Yep.
even if it's not the author, that's just like you said, it feels like you're just they aren't acting, they're just sort of like,
yeah, it's story time. It's more like you're sitting around a campfire, or you're sitting whatever, and the person's telling a story, and you're interested in the story. You're not thinking, oh, this is a reader. You're in the story.
Right. There was one, and I haven't actually finished it, but I picked up the book because of the reader. It was a book about like an Irish tales or whatever, and the guy had the most beautiful brogue.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I was like, have to have that reader. I haven't had a chance to read it.
Don't know if
listen
the
to
book
it
is any good yet, but
But I had to have that reader to read those stories,
Yeah,
because gorgeous Irish brogue.
Yeah.
For Irish stories.
Yes.
Folk tales.
Important.
So
Very
it was very important. And
très important.
I could not bear to pick up anyone else reading it once I heard his brogue.
Yep.
Because it was lovely. But anyway.
Lovely.
So yeah, I will end up mending socks, because I have managed to put some holes in some of them. And I've just been putting off mending them, and do some weaving in of ends while I listen to audiobooks, and preferably not get caught up in YouTube.
I think what I might do for the edges of this, even though everything is variegated and solid, I might do this goldenrod and this heavy green, and do 1, 1, 1, 1 across,
Oh, okay.
and maybe do like just 3 rows, and then flip them and do the solid.
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
So that they're solid.
I wasn't sure initially if you meant you'd go all the way around with one color, then all the way around with the
No.
second color, and then all the way around. I'm picturing now what you're saying.
So I'm saying like yellow,
You'd be like doing logs, but
green,
with the edge.
yellow, and then green, and but only doing like 3,
Uh-huh.
and then doing green, yellow, green, yellow. So it's not so jarring, maybe. I mean, I can look at it
Sorry.
and see if it looks fine without
Mm-hmm.
doing the other one. But I'm thinking that it might need something to kind of solidify. I don't want to have necessarily a variegated on the edge.
Right.
So we'll see about how that works.
Yeah.
This has been a fun project. I mean, honestly, for me, this has been a relatively fast blanket. If you guys think about it, those of you who've been with us for more than a few months know that I started the Surabel, like the minute I heard that he was getting married, and I was almost finished with it when I decided that I think I would just, I don't know what I would do if I had to do that all over again.
Yeah.
So I just stopped that, and I was working on this one. I only had like,
You weren't very far because you were focusing on the other one.
yeah, I think I had just this inner square, this solid.
You were a little
Surabel,
bit beyond that.
and I had this first row of logs, I think. So the blue and the red and white variegated. And I said, okay, this is going to be that. And I've been working on this nonstop, and it's just grown very quickly.
What I think we need to do, even when you start your next log cabin, especially since you're going to have a bunch of scraps from this, we can start at the same time a miter square blanket.
Okay.
So then you can glance over. Doesn't have to be fast. You know, whenever you feel like adding it in, you're going to have all these scraps coming.
Right.
I'll do the same weight, like a DK,
Right.
because that's what we have most of. At
We
this point,
we can flip back and forth.
we can do that too, yeah. Because I'm kind of mad at my finger mate one, because one of the yarns
Oh, right.
pulled away and it needs to be mended. I got angry at it. I didn't
Right.
want to deal with it. I'm not sure if it got caught on something or what it was, but
And
I got mad at
it
it.
will be a nice switch from what I'm doing, because as soon as I finish this, I'm going to start another one in a bulky weight for myself and my husband, and that one is going to be much more structured. That one, I think, if I get it done the way I want to, is going to be a pattern. So, because I have two patterns in my head. One's a crocheted shawl and one's the crochet blanket. So I need to finish this, and I need to work on those patterns, and I need to work on my dyeing of yarn.
Well, so what I will end up doing is I can look at my previous note for my last mitered square blanket, because I do have those notes, and we can do the same needle size. We'll be doing the same weights.
Be interesting to see how our gauge is different.
That will be interesting. And, you know, even if we switch yarns, we don't have to do them at the same, same colors around in the same order.
No. I'm just saying that
We add it to our...
we can share yarns is what I meant to say.
We can even bring out, if we happen to be working at the same time, as, rare occasion, well, even during tea time. I bring my basket of DK yarn. We go through, hey, do you have this? Okay, hey, here, this color here.
Yeah. And it's just, it'll be fun, and maybe I'll have a better chance of finishing if I do it with her. And I may never do anything else that picks up stitches besides mitered square, but maybe I will if that happens.
Well, what's always nice about the mitered square, especially if you choose not to edge it. I always wish I hadn't edged my last one, because then you can always add more squares if you suddenly decide you want to.
And the thing about me for that is that I have no problem edging that, because you have the little garter stitch with crochet, and then I can just pull the crochet edging out.
And that's true.
And just, so we'll see how that works. That's a little bit down the future, maybe at the beginning of the year or something.
Because that could just be something that's a little bit different, a little bit fun. Even if we don't wait till the beginning of the year, even if we start concurrently with your next blanket, the mitered square isn't something where you have to be like, oh no, I must work on it all the time.
And I'm actually kind of going back to my roots. I'm doing a lot of blankets right now. I have this one. I've got the Surabel. I've got the on the porch, back porch, on the back porch or whatever it's called by 5410. That is sitting there waiting, because it's not hard. It's just, and I am finishing it. It's probably the first knitted blanket I'll finish.
Well, it's probably a good thing that you have several blankets going at once as the weather starts getting colder, because then you'll have the mitered square that's growing. You'll have, if you even have this blanket, your version of that blanket going, it's going to be finishing pretty quickly because it's bulky.
Bulky, yeah. And I know my husband would like to. I would like to have that finished for Christmas.
Yeah, so
and it's big enough that maybe I can, if I start it right after I finish this one, then I just have to make sure I take meticulous notes, because I do want it to be a pattern. If it works out the way I see it in my head, I want to have it, in a form that I can have Taya help me set it up in a pattern, and then I can just put it as a gift for both of us for baby Jesus. So it should go pretty quickly if it's bulky weight.
Right. I mean, you don't have to be as focused as you were for this one. Goals can be flexible.
Right.
You don't need to kill yourself over it.
No, this one had a time limit, and if I had known back then what I know now, I would have started with this maybe.
Yeah.
And then I would already probably be done.
Yeah.
But because it really is, it's going pretty quickly.
And that's with the bean DK.
Yeah, this is bean DK, so it's a nice weight too. It's not overly heavy. Sometimes I don't like the Afghans themselves to be really heavy. Blankets, yes, but the Afghans not always, because sometimes it'll be summer or whatever, and I want to lay down, and I just don't want something. I have to have something over me when I'm sleeping.
I would prefer to have multiple Afghans and be able to layer the Afghans than to have no choice, which is what I do at night for the most part. Is I have the equivalent of multiple Afghans.
Right.
Well, it's an Afghan and that little weird blanket sleevey thing. Which it has weight to it, but I think that's most of what it adds, because it has all the holes in it, so there's only a limited amount of warmth it can provide.
Well, I need to put the blanket that Grandma gave us for a wedding gift, my husband's mother. I want to put that away, because it's starting to pop holes.
Right.
And I don't know how to, I think I know how to fix it, but I'm not sure.
Right.
And I just want to put it away.
Right.
And so I need to get a couple other blankets to put on there.
And crochet fixes in a different way than knitting does. With knitting, you can even, besides the simple patching something, if it frays in a certain way, you could actually pick it up and re-knit it.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think with this, what I would have to do is pull out the stitch and
Well, that's the only thing you would do because crochet's not the same as knitting.
and the problem is that she used a yarn that was 45 years ago.
Yes.
They don't even probably sell that anymore.
Yeah, if crochet develops a hole in the center, it's not as simple picking up some stitches and fixing it. It's just not the same mechanism.
I mean, I could, if I had the right yarn, I suppose I could join the yarn either with a knot or whatever, because it's acrylic, you can't really do the spit thing, and just go from there, but I don't have the yarn.
Yeah.
Because my mother-in-law made it for us for our wedding in 1983.
Yeah.
So that's 40 years ago, over 40 years ago, because we're heading into, the end of the year here, and our wedding was in June, and she had it finished for June. So, it's a great big double bed or queen size bed blanket, so it took her for a while to do it too. So it's an old blanket, maybe started in 1982 even, when we first got engaged.
Yeah, who knows when she started that.
So, well, she was probably doing two at once because Aunt Jane got married in September of that year. Yeah, she was busy making wedding blankets and baby blankets for us. So, because we got married within 3 months, and then we had Davina and she had Adam within a month of each other. So she was being kept really, really busy for blankets and stuff. She was in her glory.
That's it for me. I don't have any finished objects.
I don't either.
I don't have my journal to show.
I have ideas, but I can't show you the inside of my head, so I don't have anything to show either. I did put my journal supplies in better order. They were sitting in a plastic bag on the ground, the ones I got a few weeks ago, and I showed you. They were sitting on the ground because I didn't want to take my boxes out.
Mom's gonna re-inherit some of the journal stuff that she gave me. I've come to realize that some of the stickers and stuff is just not the way my brain works, and I'd rather have her have those. My focus is more on the book journal, and the way I'm doing that does not incorporate some of the same tools that you use. And I'd rather have those reabsorbed and possibly get used in your journaling than just sit and take up space in mine.
She's an ungrateful child.
Well, I think, even when I started journaling, because at first I didn't have the same stuff available, so I developed different ways of working things.
Right.
I leaned more on my drawing abilities. And then eventually, just because I'm not quite as whimsical in the way I put things together, eventually I've just come to realize, okay, this isn't my style.
Right.
Whereas I'm actually really enjoying doing the one that I'm doing for my book journal with the library cards, library catalog cards. If you want to see the book journal one, I've got that in my videos that I have on BookTube.
I don't have any artistic ability, so I don't draw. Or I do draw, but you don't get to see it. So, unless I happen to be really proud of something like the Daffy Duck that I did a while back. I was actually pretty happy about that. It was a challenge for my husband. So I did it, and actually it turned out pretty well, I thought. He was proud of me, so that was a bonus.
Yes.
Let me just finish this.
And then we do stash enhancements.
And we can do stash enhancements. Let me just finish this row and turn the corner.
I will show the actual tea, but the one thing I want to say for last.
Oh, right. Yeah. I thought we were going to do something different with that. Today I was surprised that we were not.
Oh, no, I figured.
That's probably fine.
Yeah.
We don't want to get anything on it. All right, let me just turn this corner, and I will show you what I have. How many things do you have for stash enhancement?
Well, it's basically the same thing. It's all just the same amount. It's like just an amount of that thing.
Okay, because I have two different types of things, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, let me just show.
I have one that's related to the craft and one that's tea.
Okay, mine's only tea. So, oof.
That's a lot of tea.
Well, some of this is sugar.
Oh, right. We take turns buying the sugar because
She stores it, though.
this big.
Because her space where she keeps it's a little bit. She had a little bit more space there.
Brenda, you may find yourself receiving partial tins of tea because you like to try them, and I can't drink all that I have, so you might get some.
So the one that I'm drinking now, this Tangerine Tuxedo, I did end up picking up a couple more of them because there's only about, I think they said there's about 8 of the tangerines in here. So what I can do is once I get down to my last one, start thinking about picking up the next one so I don't run out. But
Yeah, I bet there's 8 or 9 because the small ones have 3.
2 or 3, yeah.
Every review I looked at said 3.
Oh, okay.
So
And then just picked up refills of my Black Dragon pearls. I've been gravitating toward this tea. These 2 teas are unfortunately some of the more expensive teas, but they're absolutely excellent. This is one of my ones, kind of like the Russian Caravan and the the gray.
little bristles.
No, not that. That one's good too. But the Earl of Grey.
Earl of Grey.
If I don't want something that has any sort of really special thing, I will go to Black Dragon pearls. I will go to Russian Caravan. I will go to Earl of Grey. These kind of feel like just like staple black teas, even though I know there's something slightly different in all of them. If I'm not feeling well, I won't necessarily go to the specialty teas.
Right. The other one I will tend to go to if I'm not feeling well is my In Sickness and in Health or Fresh.
I just don't care for non-caffeinated teas that much.
In Sickness and in Health has caffeine.
I don't drink it that. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why I don't drink it that much.
Well, you liked it.
I like it. I just don't drink it very much.
I don't
That's
like
why
it.
you're going to get mine, because if I need some, I will just ask you for
Well,
some.
that's why Earl of Grey. I don't purchase that.
I have it, yeah.
She has it because I like it, but I can't always drink it. I love Earl Grey Moonlight, but I might have a sample size. But if I need some, I'm not going to have a lot in my stash. If I have any, I just go get it from her.
Right. There's just some that, yes, I might like it, or she might like it, but it's just there's no point in us having a big thing. It's just taking up space when the other person is likely to have it because they like it more.
Yeah, it's like our yarn shop. We have tea shop.
Yeah, we just go to each other's.
My
we
husband-
don't do it quite as often as we do for the yarn.
No, but we do it.
We do it.
It's certain kinds where we overlap. We don't overlap as much in our tea as we do.
No, we don't. We actually have surprisingly different flavor profiles.
Well, that's because I like the spice of the chives and things like that. Mm-hmm. I found out that I really love the pink peppercorn, and I had to look up Chrissy's blend that she made for me that has both the pink peppercorn and the black, because that has a kick and it's really good.
That's the other thing. You don't care for the black teas the way that I do.
Not unless it's in a chai usually.
Yeah, I don't care for chai.
This one is a exception.
That's a mott. That's not a black tea.
Oh, it's a mott.
That's a mott. That's not black tea.
Okay. Yeah, of course it's a mott.
So that's not black tea.
Yeah, I'm kind of rare with the black tea. It has to have something to mitigate it usually.
It's your turn to show something.
Okay, let me just put this down here. All right.
Actually, you have to show 2 things because
Okay.
my other thing's last.
No, I have only 2 things to show.
Yeah, those are the things you have to show. There's reasons.
Oh, the last. Yeah. Okay, actually I have 2.5 things to show. I just lost my stitch.
I probably should have had you go first.
Just let me...
Yeah.
I don't want to lose this stitch. Where's my clip? There it is. Okay. Just give me a second and I'll show you. I am really kind of starting to enjoy the journaling even without the stickers and the stuff like that. Just writing in the journals. And I forget what I was reading. I think it was a Catholic person, a Catholic journaler. And she mentioned these pens. And I wasn't sure if it was Blessed Is She or if it was one of the Catholic journals. I forget who it was. And I went and did the link, and she had this. And they're called, they're Pentel. They're just pens. But she said that they were really good. So I said, okay, I'm going to try these. When my husband said, do you want anything from Amazon? I said, well, this is only $5.
Yeah.
You know, so he went ahead and picked these up for me. And I'm going to try these and see. They're supposed to not bleed very much. I got the mid level. This is a 0.5 millimeter. Does it put 0.5 millimeter? It should say 0.5 millimeter. F 0.5 millimeter. You got your thumb on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were asking me to look. I thought you were asking me to look at the actual pen.
No.
Yeah, F.5.
So they have 0.3, 0.5, 0.7. So I got the medium one, which is what she had in her link, because when I looked at it after the link, this was the one that was on there. So I'm going to try these in my journal, because I'm thinking about maybe doing one color and not switching out the colors except when I want to do quotes and everything, and see how this works and also how it works in the journal itself.
Yeah.
The other thing, the tea I got, that was my half thing. The tea I got, look how this box, this was not Adagio's fault. Adagio does not do this. It went through, I don't know what, but they packed it well enough that it was fine. I got a refill of my Honeybush Pumpkin Chai. I absolutely love this. I use double the strength for the amount of water. And then I put in an ounce of warmed vanilla almond milk and some sweetener, and it makes a fabulous pumpkin chai latte. So this is really good. And then I got some more of my Where's My Chocolate Monkey? And that's one of my artworks, so you can see why I don't draw. Okay. It's cute. So I got that. And then I got one of Chrissy's blend. And Chrissy, I know she doesn't watch our podcast, so I can say she's going to get a surprise if I ever get myself in gear. But because she's also a knitter and crocheter, she does charity knitting. And I might try to see if I can find her site and post that so some of you guys can maybe get involved if you want to. If you're in the West Coast, she's in Oregon, doing some of the charity stuff. But this, she made this one. It's called Creme y Frescos. I don't know what that says. It's strawberries and chocolate. And I have another blend of hers that has strawberries and chocolate. And I'm really dicey about fruit.
Cerezas y fresas con chocolate.
So it's chocolate and strawberries. Fresh strawberries and chocolate, I think is what it is. I have another blend of hers that has strawberries and I think it's cherry and chocolate. And it's fabulous. She's made several blends with my name on it. And if I say I like it, she won't change it no matter what, because it's my blend. She's done things for like multiple people on Adagio, and if that person likes it, it's not getting changed. So this is one of hers for me. I haven't had it yet. And she went through the trouble of making a whole decaffeinated fandom because she was not just for me. She had made one for me, and she wanted to kind of do. I said, more for me. I said, look, why don't you just make yourself a fandom for this? And she did, but she has done so much for when I was limited to help me have something really good to drink so I wasn't missing some of the stuff like my little gray cells. So this is one of her blends. Now, my last stash enhancement, Chicken Lady yarn, I think it's called. I've seen her come up. I have her newsletter. It's come up several times, and I've just never had the chance to purchase. And she had a really good sale, and I got four skeins of DK. So this one is called LEO. It's DK sock, and it's superwash, 75% superwash, 25% nylon. So this is a DK with nylon in it.
Nice.
And it's got 245 yards. That's pretty good for the DK. And I got this one, which is called Oopsie 2. Isn't that pretty? I was hoping she'd have two of them, but by the time I actually decided to pick up the order, one of them had been sold. So I think that's what happened.
You needed an oops made out of Oopsie too.
Yes, I think so. But I don't know if I have enough. And then I got two of these. And these are Magic Monday. And these are all DK sock.
Very lovely.
So, but that's not all. She sent me a really nice note. And then she sent me this box. I'm like, why is she sending me candy? No, I haven't opened it yet, but let me read you the note. She says, thank you for your order. I've enclosed a sample box for you so you may squish my 8 most popular bases. I know it can be difficult to shop online for yarn. Blessings. And I can't read her name. But I knew there was a reason I liked working with her. She's obviously a Christian.
Yeah, I can't read her name either.
So this is the box. Isn't that like a candy box?
It does. That might even be the one she was going for.
Or an egg box or something. Look at this.
Because she might be storing it like you do candies.
Can you see the tissue paper? Okay, and she has a little...
Yeah, that's exactly what she's going for. She's going for a candy box look.
The colorway is hazy purple, apparently. See?
Oops. There you go.
Oh,
Whoops.
I dropped one of my
there
yarns.
goes one of your candies.
Oh, and I do have a piece of candy in here.
There you go.
See, it is like a candy box.
So that was Rhode Island Red
Yeah, so you've got...
base.
Okay, so this one here... Okay, this is a candy. This is a candy to fill up the box. And then this is called... This is Surma.
Surma Bamboo, I think. Because 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4. So she must not have had this colorway in Surma because it looks like
Okay, so this one might be Surma Bamboo. And this is all the same color, so take a look at the differences, right? Because this is all hazy purple. This one is Americana base. See the difference? I don't want to show you together because I don't want to mess up the order.
Yeah.
This one is DK Socks. That's the one I bought, the weight I bought. This one here, wow. Oops,
Yeah,
let's
don't
not
drop it again.
This, okay? This one here is Wyandotte base. So some of these are, this one feels like it might be a bulky. And this one might be a, yeah, this one's a worsted. That one might be an Aran, but this is a worsted. It's all the same colorway. And then this one is Rhode Island Red, or maybe that was Rhode Island Red. Anyway, you've seen the
This one would be silky.
yeah, this one's silky. This one's silky, and it is silky. It feels soft. And then this one is Leghorn. And they all take the color differently. It's the same color. Let's see if I can show you this without dumping it.
Yeah, you want to be very careful because...
And you can see my little candy up here.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice idea.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
You want to put your thing
Yes.
on because it went like that. And then tissue.
Because I remember the candy was on top.
Yeah.
I think the one I didn't get was Cerama.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think
Okay.
that's a nice idea.
So that's it for that one, right?
Yes.
That's all your stash enhancements?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, it's-
So when I put in my Adagio order, I did have some points. So I was able to get this with points for Mom.
Thank you.
So this is... Adagio has some t-shirts available.
Let me put this right here.
And
And I'd been looking at these, and she'd been looking at them.
I wanted them to feel... Oh, it smells like tea.
That's it?
Yeah.
I could try to see it.
But be very careful when you take this off the back
Oh, okay.
because it might have a tendency to stick.
Ooh, it's an actual, like a iron-on.
Yes. But it smells like tea, probably because it arrived in my tea order.
Right.
So it does kind of have that smell of the
Okay,
tangerine tea. I'm just being very slow with how I take it off because it's, you know...
Let's see here. Oh, mine is different than yours.
Well, this is back.
Oh. Oh, I see. Oh, right. Gotcha. Okay.
So the back has like where all they have the different farmers are.
Yours must have been closer to the edge.
Yeah, must have been.
I'll show you what she's trying to get
Free.
off here. Free. This is what it looks like in the back, which means we have to wash these inside out.
Yeah.
On delicate. Isn't that neat?
I will probably wear this as a layering piece anyway, so it's not going to be...
Oh, it smells like tea.
Yeah, right? Probably my tangerine tea. 'Cause that was
No, it
what
doesn't smell like tangerine.
'cause that's what it came with.
So it's got Anhui China, Pu'er. Oh, Pu'er is actually a place in China.
Oh, okay.
Pu'er, China. Yunnan, China. Kimun, China.
Oh, so Yunnan's a place. Okay.
Anhui, China, and I'm probably pronouncing these wrong. Simao, China, and Nanu. Yeah, because they have a master site on Adagio, and that's, you know, where they have most of these teas, although the Pura is on the regular main Adagio.
A lot of
site.
these teas I know are actually tea names. Or a
Yeah,
lot of
the-
these places are tea names.
Yes, exactly. I think
I
that's
didn't
why,
realize
I think
that.
that's why they are named for the site. you
Which
know.
makes sense.
Well, yours really got stuck, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
There you go.
I mean, there's a certain extent where I'll probably just have plastic on here and just will have to accept
Let it
that.
wash. Well, let it wash off.
Yeah. Just because poor Kimun China just has like plastic stuck all over it.
So you can see mine is blue.
And mine's green. I wanted to have them different. Mine's a very deep green. It's a
Forest green.
Forest green.
And mine
So-
is a very bright blue. The bluest skies you ever seen are in Seattle blue.
Yeah. So,
So,
I had like this weird thought that I had gotten these before, but I guess not because it didn't show up on any of my orders. So,
I've never had this shirt, so
yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
So, yes, I when it got, size that was probably larger than what I needed just so I could have it comfortable. And I did the same thing for Mom.
You have a medium, right?
Yes.
That should be plenty. for me.
So, yes.
Thank you very much.
Hers ended up being free with the order, so.
Yay for freebies.
That's it for me, so wrap it up.
Oh, this is mine.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just put the tea there. Okay. We did. Oh, I lost my show notes. Hold on, so I can see what I'm doing here. I forgot where we're at. And
Ending.
ending. All right. Okay. Let's see here.
Dental appointment did go well.
Yes, the dental appointments went well, and we have to go back as soon as your stuff comes in, and then we'll go from there. Still interesting eating, but if we're going to do any kind of that kind of thing, I want to say goodbye to the people who.
I don't want to do too much. I'm starting to feel.
All right. So we're just going to say.
There's a reason I'm sitting away from you. I'm starting to overstimulate.
Okay, we need to thank the people who commented on YouTube. We want, or anywhere else. I think I got everybody. Want to thank Wendy, who's MacGyver, Kara, Meditative Crafter 9347, Paula, Maggie Fish 79, Renna, Yarn Cave, Looney Hiker, and Aggie. We want to thank you for commenting on YouTube or wherever where you commented. If I didn't respond to you, it's because I didn't see you before we put up the started doing the podcast, or it was too late for me to do so once I saw it. We want to thank you all for joining us for the Fun in the Woman Cave. There is a Zoom coming up next week sometime, Thursday or Friday. So we hope to see you there if you're patrons. In the meantime, we are very glad to have you join us. We hope to see you here next week. In the meantime, we wish you a very pleasant week full of knitting, crocheting, and everything that makes your heart happy. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 566, and that's a wrap.
Bye.